Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the whole elect. Noise in this gospel, brother, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a lesson through the spirit, just kind of meditating on some things, going into death, which has been an incomparable and a inevitable enemy that has plagued mankind for the last 5,000 years or so, since we fell from when we ate of when Eve ate of the forbidden fruit, which is the philosophies, and Adam followed suit. Like the scripture said in the Apocrypha, it says, through sin have death, or through envy of the devil has sin entered the world. And roughly paraphrasing it, people that lay hold on death do find it, you know? So death has been one of those things that have plagued men for eons, man, for lifetimes, because it's an inevitable fate. Okay, you alive in this flesh, then eventually, you know, this will be your fate, because, you know, that's one thing that men have not been able to defeat was death. Okay, but scriptures say the wages of sin is death, and the repercussions of sin is death, being in these bodies and going off, being subjected to sin, which caused death. Okay, but there was one man that conquered death through his death and through his bloodshed, by the name of Yahweh Shai, who you guys ignorantly call Jesus Christ. He conquered death, and this is why the scriptures say death is swallowed up in great victory, because Yahweh Shai conquered death over 2,000 years ago. But there's still a dispensation of time and events we have to go through in order to ultimately defeat that enemy, because death is bittersweet, man. To those that love life, they don't seek to want to die. You know, like there's been several quotes from celebrities wanting to live forever. Even the elites adopting that sentiment of wanting to live forever. And this is why they want to set up the whole concept of the New World Order. This is why they want to set up AI. This is why they want to learn how to, it was a movie called, not Flatliners, but it was a movie called The Butterfly Effect. I believe it was The Butterfly Effect, or it was Flatliners, but basically they was experimenting with the afterlife and basically trying to see how they can bring people back from the dead. So don't think that you don't have Edomites in that same spirit trying to figure out how to conquer death, but you're not Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, and ultimately death is a spirit that Yahweh, the Most High, through his son Yahweh Shai, has allowed to infect the world, man. And this is why people have that YOLO, you only live once, live your best life. You got to get it while you get it, because ultimately these people, they fear death, man. And those of us that understand death, you're not supposed to fear it, okay? But the concept and the whole rudiment of death can be very disturbing, because the main thing about people is how they're going to go out, you know? And it's usually in one or two ways, many ways, really. But the main cause of death is somebody putting you to death, or you dying from sickness or old age, which, you know, being put to death and dying from sicknesses are probably two of the worst ways to go out, okay? And when I say being put to death, meaning somebody killed you, you died from a fatal crash or whatever it may have happened, something that caused your life to end or your life force to cease. Those are the biggest fears of humanity, man. But the good news is that death is on a time frame itself, because even though Yahweh Shai conquered death, death is not going to be truly out of this place for the Israelites until we get in the second covenant, or the new covenant, which is what a lot of Israelites are teaching that we're already in. But if we was under the new covenant, we wouldn't be subjected to sin. Also, we wouldn't die. You can't die in the new covenant. Though the agreement has been established, we still are living out this old agreement until Yahweh Shai comes back. So what you have here is a picture of who they call the Grim Reaper, which the Grim Reaper is really Yahweh Shai, the death angel. Okay, you can read about that in Exodus, the 12th chapter, when the Lord released the death angel to smite every firstborn in Egypt. Okay, so death, man, this is the Grim Reaper. And of course, they always give you some old kooky, some old grayed out, sad backgrounds, and you go to the funeral, they wear black, which black represents a form of mourning, you know. which the scriptures do give you time to mourn the dead and your loved ones, and it's natural because that's a natural emotion, but the men in the Lord ultimately understood death, and as it said that to be absent in the body is to be present with the Lord. So the prophets oftentimes welcome death, man, because what's worse than living in this wicked ass world, especially this wicked society that we're living in, with moles all over the place, sicknesses, diseases. Everything points to death, and this is why the scriptures say that this is the door I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Because America, if you in America and the Lord don't come back within a short time from now, then ultimately that is the sentence of all flesh is death. Okay, because this place is set up to kill you, from the food you eat, the water you drink, the women you deal with, from the medicines you take, from the the people you deal with, the vehicles you drive. I mean, you're inside your own goddamn house and you're dying from that because you got what they call asbestos, a chemical which is found in paint, which can cause lead poisoning and respiratory failure, heart failure. Your respiratory system gives out on you, lung disease, eating the foods. This man is cutting trees down. He has an overly populated growth of male trees and no female trees. I mean, he even got the trees murmuring with each other, man. This is why everything is dying. Pollutants, chemicals, the job you work. I mean, you can't escape that shit, man. That's why this man has to be taken out of power. So we can ultimately get that immortality, because that's the thing of men. We want to live forever. Okay? Who the hell really wants to truly die, Though going to the spirit world and the afterlife is it's a beautiful thing when you're in the presence of Yahushua, but it's just a transitional period that plagues men, the emotions, the mind behind it. Like oftentimes, you may have a relative that's getting ready to go to the spirit world, and oftentimes you find grief and discontent with that. But you yourself, it's like you can deal with that, but somebody you care about, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow, and it hits different because you have to live with that effect while they're passed on into the afterlife, into peace. Because contrary to popular opinion, when you die, you don't go to hell. You go to the spirit world. You go to the heavens, and you're at rest. And from just certain accounts and certain testimonials, and even in the scriptures, when Paul said that he couldn't utter the things which he saw because it was unlawful for him to do so, he said it was beautiful, man. He said he couldn't tell whether he was in the body or in the spirit, but he knew that he had to possibly be, in the spirit world, because technically he was put to death when he got stoned to death. And also a brother that got extremely sick, I think he said he was in a coma like for 30 days. He woke up 30 days later, but he said that he was in the spirit world and he saw it and he heard the Lord's voice, and he said it just felt peaceful, peaceful, just tranquil, So it's just what it is. But anyway, I got a couple of precepts right quick. Slack you for the long rant. But this is the book of Songs of Solomon 8. And I'm going to start at verses 6. It says, "Set me as the seal upon thy heart, and as a seal upon thy arm. For love is strong as death." Because love is a strong emotion, and death, that's a strong emotional tie behind it. This is why people mourn when they go to funerals. Like I found out today, my neighbor's dog downstairs, she passed away last week. And I was like, damn, I liked her. She was a little cool. I think she was a bull mastiff, if I'm not mistaken. She was a little territorial little thing. She dogs have sense of humor, man, and they're spiritual animals. And she being a female dog, she was extremely territorial. So anybody that comes into the building, or they walk next to me, or if they got like a just not a good spirit on them, she will bark at them. She would never really bark at me though, but every time I pull up, she'll stick her head out the window and she'll look, and if she want to get my attention, she'll bark. You know what I'm saying? She'll do like a certain bark, greeting. And I mean, from the mailman, he comes in the building, or some of the neighbors that come in and out, or she sees a dog, she'll just go batshit crazy. But, it was never disturbing because it's just a dog. She had just a cool little spirit on her, man. And she was fairly young, 10 years old, which I don't know the life expectancy on those dogs. But I'm assuming that 10 years old, that she probably died from old age or something. But I asked the neighbor, and on top of that, he's a Mo too. So, the Lord, he's plaguing. It's something going on. That's all I can say. But I asked him, I said, man, you still got the dog? And he like, man, she passed away last week. And I'm like, what? Because she's been abnormally quiet. Usually I'm hearing her at least twice a day, 3 times a day, whether she's barking at a duck or a dog, whatever. She's barking at something, you know. She just sit in the window like in this barking shit. It's cute, you know. But I haven't heard her in like a month. So I'm assuming that maybe, you know, she was probably at a friend's house or whatever, or something was going on. But I haven't seen the dog, you know. I was like, I hope she cool, you know. Because, you know, I came home a couple of times and I seen like some disconnection notices on this dude's door. So I guess they was probably getting ready to evict his ass. So it made sense as to, you know, if he was living somewhere else, then the dog wouldn't be downstairs. But I asked him today, I'm like, what happened to the dog? And he said she passed away last week, that he woke up and she was gone. And I was like, damn. I'm like, and he said, it's the weirdest shit ever. I'm like, was she sick or anything like that? And he didn't know. He's like, nah, not to my knowledge. I'm like, well, how old is she? He's like, she's 10 years old. So in 10 years old, in dog years, that's pretty old, you know, but she seems pretty, you know, pretty vibrant. So just to say this, so, you know, when people have pets and stuff like that, your pets pass away, you feel it. And I saw the look on his face and he was hurt by it. You could tell he was hurt because one thing about our animals, we go in attachment to them. And when they pass away, you know, the shit hurt. But the good news is that, you know, all those things are going to be brought back in remembrance and we're going to get these things back. Okay, because even though animals die, they don't go before the Father because they're not in sin. But the scriptures say that the spirit of animals remain downward. So the spirit of animals dwells on the earth. And men, we go to the heavens to go before the Heavenly Father because we're the one with sin on us to get that judgment. You know, so we're going to get all our animals, our love. We're going to get all of them back, you know. But anyway, it says, and love is strong as death. Jealousy is as cruel as the grave. Yeah, and it said that the grave is cruel because, like I said, dying comes with an emotional detachment. It comes with an emotional outpour, so to speak. I won't say an emotional detachment because, you know, people, they bug out when they feel like they're going to die. And then some people, they're at peace with death. And we got to be at peace with that because, you know, fortunate and unfortunate. But I say fortunate because you're going to have some brothers that got to lose their life in this thing, you know. And do we know who it is? We don't know who's going to lose their life. But certain brothers are going to have to die for this truth. And I say unfortunate because who wants to be put to death? But then again, it's fortunate because the scriptures say those that die in Yahweh should rise first. But it says, for love is strong as death. Jealousy is cruel as the grave. And the coals thereof, it says, and the coals thereof are coals of fire, which hath a most vehement flame. Okay, so there you go. So death has always been a thing that plagued mankind. All right, but Yahweh Shai conquered death, and that's the beautiful thing about it. So let's go from here to the book of Hebrews, 2nd chapter, 14th verse. All right. So this is the book of Hebrews 2, and I'm gonna start at 9. But it says, but we see Yahweh Shai, who was made a little lower than the angels, for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he, by the grace of Yahweh, should taste death for every man, right? And that's talking about every Israelite man, because he died for the nation of Israel, okay? But one thing about it, in the kingdom of heaven, we ain't gonna die. We're gonna be immortal, truly. But the other nations will still die because they would not be subjected into everlasting life because they're still mortal men and there's still mortal men on the earth. Now, I speculate that they will live out their full day once the earth is replenished and back to his strength when his youth and his increase, which 1,000 days, or 1,000 years to the Most High is a day. Okay, 1,000 years to men is a day. So basically, they live within that one day. So like, I believe the oldest living man was Methuselah, which I believe he lived to 984 or 968. Okay, but that was still almost roughly 1,000 years, which is one day. So I speculate that the nations will live out the means of their day, but they're going to still be subjected to death. Okay, now you got to understand that the Most High, he doesn't deal with precise timing on the head. Okay, though he's precise, but instead of them living a full 1,000 years, they lived to around, you know, men of the Lord, or men at that time lived to like the age 900 plus years, which is still roughly almost 1,000 year period. So they did die within that day, as he promised us. And this is why he said, surely this day thou should die. And it wasn't talking about a 24-hour period, but over a 1,000-year period, man. Okay. But it says here, for he's that sanctified, and they who are sanctified are all of one, for which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren, which is talking about the elect first, saying, I would declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the church I will sing praise unto thee. But then again I will put my trust in him. And again, behold, and I and the children which the Most High have given me. All right, and now I'm going to get to the point. Verses 14. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, which is this flesh, he also himself likewise took part of the same, meaning he came on the earth as a mortal man. Okay, he bled, you know, he had emotions, he cried, you know, he wept, he drank, he got stressed out, he got angry, you know, he had different emotions as well, like we all. But it says here that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is the devil. Okay, so Yahushua defeated death 2,000 years ago. So this is a beautiful thing. But death is still current because it's still on, death is on a time frame for the Israelites. Okay, once Yahushua comes back and we get that glorious body, we ain't gonna have to worry about that shit no more, man. Oh, my grandma gonna get old and sick, she gonna pass away from cancer. Just knowing that cancer is more than likely for that. Cancer has a fucking, that's probably one of the highest death rates here in America, just cancer alone from the foods. Okay, and that's just sure that more than like I say shit, 7 out of 10 people will get cancer, you know, and we all have cancerous cells in our body. It just, if you have the immunity to fight it off or not, you know. But everybody you see walking around has some type of cancer in their body, just from driving a vehicle, just from going outside, from eating the food. You know, it just, if it's strong enough to you know, to make you succumb from it. You see, and he's cutting down the trees and all this other shit, but we ain't got to worry about that in the kingdom, man, you know. But in this world, you got to make sure your diet is on point. You got to make sure you hydrate, you get enough sleep. You don't have stress levels that's out the roof because, I mean, you are likely to go to the spirit world. And death, I mean, cancer could be a very, very painful and slow death, man. So if you have a cancer, you better hope it's one of those accelerated cancers that can take your ass out within months instead of you dealing with it for 15 years and you in pain. You know, nobody wants to deal with that. But it reads, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he may destroy him that had the power over death, that is the devil, and deliver them who through fear of death were all their families subject into bondage. Yeah. Okay. So that's the point. Men fear death because they don't understand it. But when you understand it, then it's like, okay, cool beans. But it says, for verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham, because Yahushua comes out of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which Yahushua is Isaac, you know, but he comes out of the loins of Jacob through the 12 tribes because Yahushua was an Israelite. Okay, Christians seem to forget that. What nationality was Jesus? Oh, he was a Jew. No. Okay, that was his tribe. What nationality was him? He was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Yehudah or Judah. Okay, go here to the book of John 11, chapter 25th verse. And it reads, let's start at verses 21. It says, then said Martha to Yahushua, Lord, if thou hast seen me, if thou hast been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of the Most High will give it thee. But Yahushua said unto her, thy brother shall rise again. Yeah, because the resurrection. Okay, and the Lord had the power to bring men back to life, literally. It says, and Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. That's the resurrection to life. Okay, because you're going to have, even when Yahushua got crucified, you had saints that literally rose from the dead and lived full lives, man. Okay, now that's certain things that Esau ain't going to bring about when it comes to things like that. But he'll tell you that, oh yeah, that was an eclipse, that was an earthquake. These things transpired upon the crucifixion of Yahushua. But it says here, Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Because remember, the scripture said that the dead in Yahushua should do what? The dead shall rise first, man. Okay, that resurrection into life. And it says here, and Yahushua said it to her, I am the resurrection and the life. And he that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet he shall live. Okay, So we're going to live again. I mean, technically we're dead now to this world, but we're going to actually live again. And then the scriptures also said there be some of you that stand here that should not taste death until you see the Son of Man coming in his glory, you know, which that's twofold, because that goes into some of the men of the Lord not actually dying, okay, not actually dying and getting transferred and getting those new bodies. But then again, you're going to have a bunch of apostates, a bunch of wicked false prophets that the Lord is going to reserve until his coming to put their ass to death. Okay, because you're going to have people that's alive and very well when Yahweh Shai comes, man. Okay, you're going to have business as usual in different countries. Though America is going to be a total, it's going to be a purge out here, but in different cultures, you're going to still have business as usual. Motherfuckers going to be on planes and shit, going to work. It's still going to be society intact. And it says, and whosoever liveth and believeth in me should never die. Believest thou this? Okay, and that's the point, man. So if you believe in Yahweh Shai, then death shouldn't be no thing. It's just the flesh that has a trouble. The flesh has a problem with accepting death because, like I said, the way one can go out and just the emotional sentiment behind it. But death is on a time frame, man, because death don't have that long to rule anymore over the affairs of the Israelite man. Okay, if you are the elect. All right. 1 Corinthians 15 and 54. And it reads here, it says, so when this corruptible shall put on incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. And Yahweh Shai already has the victory over death, but we have to get that victory by overcoming. Okay, so Yahweh Shai has the victory over death. Okay, Yahweh Shai can't die again. Okay, he has his glorious body. He has his glory. He's just in a spirit world waiting to receive his inheritance, which is the earth again. Okay, but it says here, death is swallowed up in great victory. And this is what we're all waiting on, man. Okay, because each and every last one of us, look, we ain't trying to die in a polluted land, man. Okay, we ain't on that crash out culture. Niggas, they don't give a shit. They just want to do what they want to do. If somebody off them and put a bullet in their head, man, or, you know, Esau does what he do, or a nigga just commit suicide. Because suicide is at an all-time high now, too. You know, depression, mentally depressed, manic depressed, schizophrenic. It's just nuts, man. But it reads, O death, where's thy sting? O grave, where's thy victory? Because like we said, that's the sentence over all flesh, as it tells us in the Apocrypha. Death. Okay, every man, woman, and child that's on this planet have died before, because the scriptures goes into reincarnation. So each and every last one of us have went to the spirit world and got our judgment and came back down here to play it out again. So each and every spirit you see on this planet right now is not a new spirit. Everything has been before. That's why the scriptures say you see this of old. There's nothing new. But the sting of death is sin, because the scriptures say the wages of sin is death, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in Yahweh Shai, man. So we got a chance, brothers, okay? It may seem like it's drawn out, and it may, you know, it may be minute at times, or it may seem like it's just a shit show. What you're living here is a shit show. But Yahweh Shai got us, man, if we remain faithful. Okay? This is the book of Isaiah, and this is the future prophecy. This is basically what we just read. But this is the book of Isaiah 25 and 8. It says he will swallow up death in victory. And Yahweh Shai did that by shedding his blood. All right? But like I said, we have to come into the new covenant for us to fully enter into this conquering of death, because right now we're still subjected to it because we still sin. Okay, but once we enter the new covenant, ourselves will overcome death through Yahweh Shai's blood. And that was the whole concept of the new covenant, of why Yahweh Shai was crucified in the first place, so we can overcome death. Because think about it, if the disciples 2,000 years ago were in the new covenant, why did each and every last one of them die and go to the spirit world? See, because the whole thing of the new covenant outside of the new bodies is the victory over death. And that's the whole concept of the new covenant, the victory over death. If you understand the history on that, or if you understand it. Okay, so we're not in the new covenant yet, though the blood was purchased, the land was purchased, the deeds were sent, but you know, we're not there yet. This place has to, how can we be in the new covenant when you still have a place that represents death on the planet Earth, which is Babylon the Great, and just this man alone, Esau, The harbinger of death, man. All right. But it says he will swallow up death in great victory, and the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears from all of the faces, and the rebuke of his people should be taken away from off all the earth, for the Lord hath spoken it. Okay? And that's the point. And the rebuke of his people was talking about our captivity, the sin, us going off, us getting jacked up, man. You know? And the Lord is going to take away death from the Israelites, because we're going to truly be immortal on the planet earth. All right? Revelation 21:1. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. That's talking about this rulership for the first. And this is the new covenant. It says, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there is no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he would dwell with them, and they should be his people, and Yahweh himself should be with them and be their power. And this is what we're waiting on, man. This is that new covenant. And Yahweh should wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there should be no more death. Talking about for the Israelites. Neither sorrow nor crying, neither should there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Okay? So we ain't here yet, man. Which proves that we ain't in the new covenant. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new, including the covenant. And he said unto me, write, for these things are true and faithful. Okay? So Yahweh Shai did a beautiful thing, man. He overcame death, and we can overcome death too if we make it to the end. Okay? It's basically our version of our crucifixion, that we have to totally mortify the deeds of this body, man. You know? Basically equivalent to what Yahweh Shai did on the cross, but not as severe, because none of us can undergo that type of torture. Okay, Yahweh Shai was the only man that was able to undergo that and to conquer death. But ourselves, we go through our own particular crucifixions and our own deaths, man, by staying faithful in his truth and just enduring, man. Okay, even through the times which seemed impossible. All right, Revelation 20, and I'm going to start at verses 14. And it reads here, it says, and death and hell was cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And that death in hell represents this damn devil, man. Because Esau is the harbinger of death. But also, the lake of fire, which being here in America, as I mentioned earlier, America is the one of the most places on the earth that perpetuate death. Okay, notice everybody in America is shrouded with fear. Everybody's paranoid. Everybody's sleeping with the doors locked. Okay, everybody is in fearful of one another because America pumps fear. This is why you got horror movies, where you got all types of stuff, man. Weapons at an all-time high. The food, everybody's afraid. Okay? Because, once again, King David said, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That's talking about this place, man. Okay? And it says, and death and hell was cast into the lake of fire. Because once this place is destroyed, this place, and you can read it in Revelation 18, it says, in her was found the blood of the saints. So when the Most High destroyed this place, death is going to flee from the elect men and women of the elect, man. Death is going to flee us, and death is going to be left behind in this place to be destroyed, which is starting with this devil, starting for the Israelites only, if that make any sense. And it says here, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. And that's you scoffers, you scorners, man. A lot of you Israelites out there, you guys that's playing games with the Lord's word, you're going to find yourself part of this destruction. All right. Last precept here. This is the book of Revelation 2 and Wisdom of Solomon 2:23. It says, for Yahweh created men to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own immortality. And we're going back to that. Okay. We're going to be baby Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shais on the earth. We're going to be Yahweh Juniors on the earth. Okay. We're going to be the small versions of the Most High and his son, man. Because Yahweh Shai say even greater works than these ye should do, because I go to my Father. So we're going to have powers like Yahweh Shai, just on a lower level. Okay. But nonetheless, powerful. We're going to be more powerful than the most mightiest angels on the planet earth, man. Because it's rare that one angel could destroy an entire planet. You know, Satan God type ordeal. But it says, nevertheless, through the envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. So P. Diddy and all this other madness, hey, they lay hold on the devil, and they're going to all be destroyed here. Okay, like right now, you got this big ordeal. And this is how I know they're getting ready to do something legit. You got the whole Young Dolph thing, the whole trial of Young Dolph in the news, and then you got this Diddy shit. So there's two celebrities right there that's heavily in the news at the same time, and Jake is all over it. You know, Jake been following that Young Dolph thing. I think Dolph died like 3 years ago, and now they finally coming to terms with who killed Dolph, and they showing the footage of him getting shot up and all this other shit. Jake is into that shit, man, and this whole Diddy thing. You know, oh shit, it's the Spirit. That's that new Gladiator preview. You know, we got to go see that. But anyway, I'm gonna end it here, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kakwadash, Lord's will. You